So if Donald Trump is going to go ahead with this plan to impose these tariffs on Canada, I'm told by a senior Canadian government official that no one officially from the new Trump team has actually indicated to Canada specifically that that's going to happen. Doesn't mean it won't happen. Want to be very, very clear about that. What the official tells me is, sorry, there's a mouse. David, I know what team there's a mouse.
You're making me nervous now.
No,
I'm
it's all good.
Lift your feet up. Lift your feet up.
Well, here's the thing. I've been deployed. I've covered war. I'm not afraid of a mouse, but doesn't mean I like it.
Doesn't mean you're not distracted by it either.
Doesn't mean I don't like it. So, anyway.
Okay. All right. So it doesn't mean it will happen. Doesn't mean it won't happen. Yeah.
Doesn't mean it won't happen. Tariffs are. This is like the most important thing right now for the Canadian economy. So I don't want to be like distracted by a mouse while we're having this conversation. But it doesn't mean it's not coming. But in terms of, has anyone from the Trump team officially said to Canada, "Hey, this is happening. Here it goes"? No, that hasn't happened.
In a small hamlet near Calgary, a busy little builder is hard at work crafting her very first lodge. But the story behind this tiny architect is far from ordinary.
A member of the public had found her after she'd sort of been kicked out of her house by her family.
She arrived at the Alberta Institute for Wildlife Conservation last year as a frail newborn kit. Small enough to fit in the palm of a hand, her chances of survival were slim.
Me and one of our other staff members kind of became her primary caregivers, raised her for the first bit in our house, swam her in our bathtub so that she felt that we were her family.
Those early moments paddling in a tub started a remarkable journey of bonding and growth.
When she first came in, she had to be formula fed about 5-6 times a day, and every single time you do that, you also have to swim them in water.
Now, this little survivor is flourishing under the watchful eyes of her adopted family.
Once she sort of finally got comfortable with us and started putting weight on, we could see her grow and hit the beaver milestones. Like the first time she started chewing on a branch or dove underneath the water.
She spends her days honing her natural instincts and building her independence. But like any teenager, she's not afraid to show some attitude.
She's in her teenager rebellious phase right now, where you go in there and if you give her her snack or her breakfast and it's not exactly what she wants, she'll scream, she tail slaps.
The team has big dreams and hopes to release her into the wild by 2026, where she can build a future on her own terms.
Getting to see them go back to the wild, seeing all that hard work pay off is unlike anything I know how to explain. It's absolutely amazing.
For now, she's continuing to learn and grow, all while inspiring laughter and joy. It makes the eventual goodbye that much harder.
There's always a part of it that's sad, and it's always a part where you're just crossing your fingers. You can kind of just hope you did the best they can. It's the sending them off to college phase.
From a rejected kit to a promising future in the wild, this beaver's journey is one of resilience and new beginnings.
Oh no, don't eat my cookies! Oh, Helga! Helga and her mom, they come and play in the sprinklers. Hi, you booped me! So I've known Helga since she was born. You booped me! When I see her, I just sit and talk to her, just like she's a human. Hello, hi. How's it going? My husband's favorite cookies are no-bake cookies. And in Alaska, everybody uses outside as the fridge. So I just put them together, set them outside, and came back and Helga was eating them. Oh no, don't eat my cookies. It's my husband's birthday. I was talking to her like I talked to my cat. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. She knocked the whole pan off, ate the rest of them, and then walked off, and I'm assuming she took a nap.
Let's go. Yeah, load up, Flint. Because of course. What are you doing? not easy, but I got it. Hey, Far, look, I got it.
Picture this. You're sitting in your kitchen having your morning cup of coffee and you look out the window and see something incredible. You get in your car, drive out there, and you capture this.
I think it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Michelle Drawley says she'll never forget seeing this herd of elk crossing Cottonwood Road. Just how many elk, she says?
I thought it was about 1,000, but other people have said it's more than 1,000, maybe up to 2,000.
Michelle's lived in the Highlight Foothills area for about 35 years. She told me Wednesday morning started off like any other day until
I looked out the window and I saw the line of elk going right across that field out there. And I thought, they're back.
a herd Michelle had seen last year around the same time. But when she saw these elk a year ago, the herd was about half the size, which is why Michelle hopped in her car and drove up the road to get a closer look, capturing this incredible video.
I was thrilled. I pulled up and they were just starting to cross the road. I just couldn't believe my timing. It was perfect.
Michelle took me to the exact spot she filmed this video. Tracks from the elk still fresh in the snow.
Okay, so they went there, crossed here, and went over right in there.
But we were both curious where these elk came from and where they're going. So I met up with Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks to find out.
What we're seeing is that there's lots more snow at higher elevations, and they have to be able to find food, and so they come down to lower elevations to do that.
Which is why for the next few months, you may be seeing a lot more wildlife around the area.
This herd in particular, here south of Bozeman, is one of a few that we are putting collars on to track their movements.
The reason? To make sure the elk are steering clear of busy highways. And after tracking these elk for a year now, they've also noticed
They've showed that they are using places with conservation easements, which is good. That's why those easements are there, is to help protect habitat for wildlife.
In fact, this land you see them traveling through in the video is conservation easement land, owned by Michelle's neighbor.
Because of them, we have this open space that gives the elk the opportunity to roam and to migrate.
Michelle tells me next January she'll be on the lookout for this herd again. And as for this once-in-a-lifetime video she took,
I feel so lucky I got to see it.
Definitely felt like winning the lottery. Like, I can't believe this just happened. I had received a message from somebody saying that they'd lost their dog, and the area we were searching, maybe 5 kilometers by 5 kilometers, I would say. So we had been flying for about 45 minutes. The owner of the dog, you know, he's basically like, okay, let's just check these last few spots. And I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, this is it, man. There's nothing else we could do. It's the classic moment where it's like the last spot you're gonna check, and you're just about to finish, and he goes, oh, what's that on the right? Oh my God, that's your dog. And he just was like in a complete, like, excited panic in that moment when he got his dog, and I know that I helped him get his dog. I just realized there's reason and purpose that you can't get from anywhere else besides helping people. And he was just so relieved. I just want to pass it on, you know?
For these local twin brothers, family isn't just about people, it's about pets too.
It's a family member. To me it is. I have pets. My brother has pets.
For Avondale Fire Captain Ryan Tussing, protecting lives is more than just a job. It's been his life's calling. But over his 20-year career fighting fires in the valley, he's seen far too many pets perish before they could be found and saved.
That day I went back to the station and said, I have got to come up with a solution. And I looked it up. 40,000 pets die every year in residential house fires.
A staggering number that motivated he and his brother Rusty to think outside the box.
We want to save dogs. We want to save cats. We want to save pets.
Ryan says the biggest issue is locating an animal when they enter an unfamiliar home filled with smoke.
They're just like children. They hide. So we have to find them.
That's why they invented Rescue Retriever, a paw-shaped device with a built-in smoke detector. When it senses danger, it emits a powerful strobe light, guiding firefighters directly to where the pet might be hiding.
My pets roam. They have a dog door. But when they get scared, they're not going to run outside. They're going underneath that bed.
The brothers say placing the rescue retriever in your pet's favorite hiding spot could mean the difference between life and death. Paired with a decal for your front door to alert firefighters to pets inside, they've already shipped out more than 6,000 devices in the past year.
You can usually call out to people, but animals get afraid and they hide.
Dog mom Susan Looper says the device certainly caught her attention.
I think that's a great idea.
Ryan and Rusty are already looking ahead, working on a collar version of the device. At $40, it's available on Amazon and their website, but for these brothers, it's not about the money.
We kind of have a saying, it's not a sale, it's a save. Because that's the way we look at it.
The dog named Mom by the veterinarians came to their clinic door this week clutching her lifeless puppy in her mouth. The tech initially believed that the puppy was dead. However, the vet detected a faint heartbeat, gave it a shot of adrenaline, then warmed the puppy with a hairdryer. Mom remained nearby, occasionally checking in on her baby. The vet believes Mom may have known about this clinic by following members of the community who rescued her other puppy and then brought it there. Amazing story. And if you're furrowing your brow saying impossible, I will just say on a personal note, as a child, we moved about 15 miles from one house to another. Our cat got out accidentally, and a month later showed up at our former house 15 miles away. Animals are capable of amazing things.
I've heard that before.
That's about as good as I'm gonna get. Free dog. Come on. Let's go.
Good dog, Yari.
Come on, let's go. Let's go.
Good dog. Good dog.
Come on, buddy. Come on, Yari. Come here, buddy. Yep. Let's go. Let's go. Free dog.
Oh, there he's over it. He's not over it.
Come on, buddy.
Nearly 40 officers serve the Wyandotte Police Department, upholding the law to the T.
But now one of their very own is being accused of a deplorable act.
It's usually not something another officer would do.
Officer Kate Barwig has been on the force for 5 years. The 28-year-old tells me that the incident happened in this break room during lunchtime.
Get out my lunchbox, get my sandwich out. I take 1 or 2 bites of it.
Officer Barwig immediately gets called to assist with an unruly prisoner. Upon his return, Officer Barwig was shocked to see his salami Munster sandwich gone.
Then I realized Ice was up here. Officer Ice. I knew that was kind of his track record.
Officer Ice has been on the K-9 unit for 11 years. The German Shepherd is a decorated cop who has assisted several federal agencies. Detective Sergeant Ken Grote says Ice also has hundreds of drug busts under his belt.
He found over a kilo of heroin in a wall in a house in Detroit.
The Wyandotte Police Department posted the incident on social media, noting that Officer Ice has pleaded the fifth and asked for public opinion. The post since has gone viral, with thousands of likes and over 8,000 shares. Lieutenant Neil Hunter tells me folks believe Officer Ice is being framed.
Everybody says the face says it all. He's innocent. He's got a handsome face, and he just couldn't do something this heinous.
Now, pretty much every day, Officer Ice receives treats and toys not only from Michigan, but from around the world. He also received his own sandwich.
Where are we now with this investigation?
The public spoke. His attorneys have spoken, several of them, more attorneys than I've ever seen a defendant have. And he's been cleared of all charges, and he's back to work.
However, for Officer Barwig, justice may never be served.
It's different being the victim and just knowing you might not ever get that piece of item back or even food back.
Will you ever get over this and forgive Ice?
Yeah, I forgive him. He's done a lot of good for the city, and you know, maybe he deserved a sandwich. Maybe not my sandwich, but maybe a sandwich.
But this is not the first time Chicago's stores or restaurants have seen a surprise like this. It was a wild encounter this morning at the Aldi store on Kedzie, when 2 Chicago police officers armed with brooms and their own 2 hands
Watch out, guys. Watch out, watch out, watch out.
pulled this coyote by the tail out of the produce section.
It was quite a surprise.
Liza Lair saw the video circulating on social media. But since she is the assistant director of the Urban Wildlife Institute at Lincoln Park Zoo, she says it's not a total surprise.
The colder temperatures, we don't see human activity really as much, out in our parks and in our natural areas. And so that's kind of the time where a lot of different wildlife might be a little bit more active.
This isn't the first time a coyote went into a Chicago establishment. Back in 2007, this coyote crept into a Quiznos in the Loop during peak lunchtime.
I jumped on top of the counter.
That coyote was captured by animal control and released to the wild the next day. In 2020, there were multiple coyote sightings from downtown along the Mag Mile to Lincoln Park, where a young boy was attacked. In 2023, over 1,000 coyote complaints were made to Chicago Animal Care and Control, and nearly 1,400 were made in 2024.
These animals are doing everything they can to stay away from us.
Chris Anker with the Forest Preserve of Cook County says this coyote in Aldi did not want food. They were probably walking down the sidewalk, trying to avoid people when the door opened. For the next 3 months, Anker says they are focused on finding a mate during breeding season.
Right now, they're very active in setting up territories and defending them.
Hey, what's up?
As for the Aldi coyote, they are heading to Flint Creek Wildlife Rehabilitation in South Barrington. That's where they will be assessed before they are sent off into the wild. A far cry from the aisles of any Chicago area supermarket. Now, Animal Control says that the coyote was uninjured. They also suggest that you keep your pets on a leash and you do not feed them. Also, if you do encounter one, make sure you make yourself big and yell, never run.
This has been a 2025 Disturbed from His Sleep Terrier production. This has been a Fat Cat production 2025.